I'm Callie and welcome to my kitchen. In this video, I'm going to show you my collard greens and smoked turkey. This is a favorite in my house, and on how I do it really just depends on what's for sale at the store. What happened to be on sale yesterday was smoked turkey drums. Sometimes we do smoked turkey necks, sometimes we do smoked turkey wings, if it's whatever we can find. But when we can find some smoked turkey and some good collard greens, we're going to grab them every time. We used to do ham hocks, but there was a time where my husband wasn't eating pork. So instead of the ham hocks, we found the turkey, and we actually found we don't miss the pork when we do the smoked turkey. It really adds a lot of flavor to your greens. So this is really simple. Are you ready for this, y'all? We're going to open this turkey. This hasn't been cut, so there shouldn't be any shards of bone. Sometimes you get them and they're cut, in which case you need to rinse them and make sure you're not getting shards of bone. We've made that mistake before. But we're just putting these, I don't see anything loose, putting this in the pan. And we're adding chicken stock, whether you make your own, you buy the can, you buy the box, you use the bouillon, you use better than bouillon, however you like, chicken base, whatever you have access to, can afford, keep on hand, whatever you like. Just make sure it's just chicken stock, turkey stock, beef stock if you really want. They all have good flavor depending on what you're cooking, but just use stock instead of water. But those turkey legs are going to also add to that, make turkey stock with it, and you're starting out with good flavor there. We have found out the hard way that you want to cook your turkey a lot longer than you actually cook your greens, because we found out if you cook your greens for a couple hours like you do your turkey, you wind up not needing to chew your greens, and we kind of like to chew our greens. So I'm just going to get this going, and go ahead and start rinsing and chopping and moving on to the next stuff. Now, this is processed with raw meat, so I like to, if it was over with the raw meat a lot of times, I like to go ahead and treat it like raw meat, wash my hands, and bleach down my counter. Our smoked turkey has been simmering for a while now, and it is no longer covered. You really just want to make sure you cover it. That's why I didn't give an exact amount of stock before, because it's going to depend on how much turkey you have, how big your pot is, how much collard greens you have. Sometimes you use a 1 or 2 pound pack from the grocery store. Sometimes you're cutting them, and sometimes they're out of my garden, and of course that's going to vary what comes out of my garden when I have a garden. But so as this has boiled down some, we're just going to add some more stock. If you've already added 4 boxes of stock and you want to add a little butter, I know I said don't use butter before, but if you want to add a little butter just to cover it, that'll be fine. It'll still be plenty flavorful. I'm just going to add some filtered water to cover that last. And I just turn the turkey and keep it covered. There we go. All right. Problem solved. And then we're just going to keep simmering while we get our collard.
All right, go.
All right. So what we have today are some collard greens that I got from the store, which are going to vary in size and everything else. But we're just going to get our collard greens rinsed, and I know everybody's different on how they like to rinse their collard greens. If you really need a video of me rinsing all of these collard greens, you let me know and I'll do it. But right now I just like to get a bowl or a sink of water going, make sure all of them are soaked, and then rinse them off and get them straining as I go. So I'm just going to start rinsing. Okay, I've double rinsed basically all the collard greens, and I'm gonna move this back, caps the water out of that. So these collard greens actually look pretty good. Sometimes they look terrible. So I'm just gonna stack. If I see any that really look good, I'll show you. But you can take any yellow ones out, or if they're black around the edges, they've been eaten by bugs. Sometimes they look like, well, there's an example. That's a judgment call, but we can leave it out. But it's probably fine. But all of these look really good. I'm actually really impressed. I was a very picky kid when I was little and never ate collard greens. And I didn't eat collard greens until I was much older. We're just going to... So this is another personal preference. My mama used to cook the collard greens, and she would put this whole leaf in there. She might break off the ends, put the whole leaf in there, and then you were having to pick it up, and you kind of had to pick it up and put it to get it in your plate, and it was a mess. So I like it a little more chopped than that, but I know some people like it really fine, which if that's how you like it, you can cut them really fine. I like to have a good bite, so I like to cut them down this way, and then just across this way, kind of like you would romaine lettuce for a salad or something. We're just going to cut, and some people don't like the stems at all. I like some of the stems because I really like that. Where the leaf might be really falling apart, you still have a good bite with that stem, and I like being able to chew that bite. I like being able to chew my food. And we're just going to set these aside for now and get some more chopped. But my granddaddy grew collard greens in his garden. He always had a garden going, and he always grew collard greens in his garden. And I always thought it was funny. I didn't eat them when I was little because my granddaddy always said they weren't fit to eat, but he liked to grow them because he liked growing things. So we always had them. He always had them, and the rest of everybody else ate them. And eventually I ate them when I was older, but that was just my granddaddy having to grow something just to grow it, but gonna call it not fit to eat. But I can't help but growing collard greens and chopping collard greens and thinking about my granddad. Okay, and then I think our burner might's gone off. The burner is completely cold. Don't worry, because the maintenance guy looked at it and it works for him. Okay, so that took a little longer than planned to get back up to boiling, but that's okay. We've got it boiling now, and we're gonna go ahead and add in our collards. I got a full bowl. Alright, we've got those in there. While those cook down some, we're actually going to add in our garlic and our onion. I like to use elephant garlic because I like to use a lot of garlic, but I don't like to peel a lot of garlic. So they come in varying sizes. That was a little big. Alright, now simmer down now. Simmer down now. We're just going to pop this pops right off, which is another reason I love this garlic. We're going to boil this for quite a while, so I'm not going to worry about it being in big chunks. Not that I normally worry about garlic being in big chunks. Once again, personal preference. know you can saute the garlic and onions in the pan before you add everything in there, but since I like to boil those turkey legs for so long, I don't normally add the garlic and onions first because I don't want to completely liquefy it. And we're just using a yellow onion because that's what I keep on hand. Oh, doing all fancy feel.
Hold on.
And I'm just going to large dice this. That off my hands. I don't know if you can see in the pot. Just want to make sure everything's covered with that stock. Now, with using that stock, using that smoked turkey, I don't usually salt it because it's plenty salty with the smoked turkey. But sometimes, even though I add garlic and onion, depending on what stock I use, I might add a little garlic powder and a little onion powder just to give that pot liquor a little bit extra. Depends on what I'm cooking it with, but I think we're gonna taste this in a little bit and see. I think it's good, and we're just gonna let this simmer. We're going to turn this down low and let it simmer. Okay, it's been a good 30-45 minutes since these have been simmering. I don't like to go over 45 because they do get a little too done for what I like. Some people may like more, but you do you. And these look real good green. So, depending on what kind of meat I get, so they didn't have turkey necks yesterday, we got the drums. And my husband and our oldest like to eat those drums. Like to eat the meat. If it's turkey necks, I will pull, especially if I'm fixing them for a large crowd, I will pull the meat off the bones. But in this case, a couple of people get. Sometimes I pull the meat off, sometimes I just let my husband get this big old bowl with turkey. And got some cornbread coming. Which I want mine with some cornbread. Oh, you can hear my 20-month-old. She's had about enough today. But we're going to have a link to that cornbread in the description. But right now, come try some of them.
Sure.
We did got a bit of salt, and that is plenty salty.
And it looks very hot. Oh. Oh yeah. I like that. Oh, that's delicious.
All right. Just done a bite right more already. So, if you like this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and give us a like. If you haven't already, give us that thumbs up. and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully we'll have some more videos soon. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear how you have your collard greens. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you like with yours, or even what you like to eat them with, or any videos that you might like to see in the future. Just give us some feedback. And y'all have a good one. I know you want this full.
I mean, yeah, I know. I sure is hungry.